Hello and welcome. I am going to be running some big boards today. Very excited to be doing this. I've only done BRs on stream, but now we've got some big board drafts. And excited to jump in these. I have loaded up the Davis Matic rankings. If you're wondering what these rankings are, I highly recommend you follow him, subscribe to his Patreon, because I like these rankings. And yeah, so this might take a few minutes to fill. Probably could have waited to go live till this was closer, but that's showbiz. And so waiting for 7 here, and hopefully we can have a fun draft. Try to run a few of these today. Big board is one of my favorite contests on Underdog because truly hope springs eternal. It's all about the rookies. We don't know what they're going to be, but in our mind's eye, we can just draft 20 of the best players in the NFL and get them all on one team and win $250K. And if we don't actually realize $250K, well, at least we will have these moments in February where that seems possible. So waiting for 6. I don't know if 9:29 a.m. on a Tuesday morning is the optimal time to try to fill these, but here we are. I think there are enough people hungry for this. It's Super Bowl week. People are excited. I don't think this will take too long to fill. We got five left. So thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. My viewer retention. I've already lost my viewer, folks. We are 3 minutes in, and we have gone from 1 viewer to 0. Is it the lack of face cam? Am I on mute? I streamed for an hour a couple weeks ago. It was on mute for the first 50 minutes until someone came in and asked, is there audio? I said, well, of course there's audio. I've been talking for the last hour. But I was muted. I was muted for 1 hour. So if I am muted, please tell me. I realize that if I'm muted, you can't hear this plea, but I think it's working this time. So I'm really excited to actually have audio. So we are waiting for 3. Buck, a hero and legend of not only the Deposit Kingdom Discord, but now stopping by in the Matic Discord. Thank you for coming by here. Appreciate it. Buck, it is great to have you. Hopefully we can fill this and get started soon. So very excited. Please tell me if music's too soft, too loud, etc. All those things. I do hope one day to set up a camera here, but honestly, it looks like I'm streaming from a cave if I were to turn it on. The lighting is not good, and I am in dire need of a haircut. I look like a sea captain, but like not a good one. Like one where you're like, I don't know about this guy. This could be the end. All right, so we are only waiting for 1 now. Very exciting stuff. Again, if you're here, feel free to do these. I won't. It's always fun to stream with people and hopefully as long as you stay in your lane. But honestly, these big boards are so wild. Like people, when you hit that QB pocket, and we will get there, it gets pretty crazy. It gets pretty crazy around pick 100 with the QBs, and people just sort of abandon all pretense of stacking and just start grabbing quarterbacks. And you kind of just got to hope that you're able to make a stack or they just start going fast and furious, and people are not that concerned with stacking. So I have the 11 hole. I have to say, I definitely prefer my drafts when I think there's a big tier break after the first two, to be honest. I mean, Chase and Barkley are so clearly the top two picks here. There's a lot of mini tiers kind of I see in the first round. Bijan, Jefferson, Gibbs, Puka. You can argue Lamb's in there. And then you get down to this Collins, Amon-Ra range. I mean, these are all great players, right? They're all first-round talents, but it does feel like the drafts are quite different when you start with Justin Jefferson versus when you start with, like, Nico Collins. Like, you're just... The difference you get in round two, to me, just isn't making up for it. That could be skill issue, but frankly, I think there are some definite tier breaks that we see, maybe even a little more than we saw last year. At least it feels that way to me. The other thing I've noticed in these big boards is people take their whole shot clock. I feel like this didn't happen last year. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe it's... I mean, this could be anecdotal, right? This one took a long time to fill. So Zingy 05 could just be doing anything else right now. But a lot of people taking their full time. These drafts have been going really slow. So yeah, we see Saquon go, then Barkley, Chase, then Barkley, then Bijan. Nothing too out of the ordinary so far. We were talking in the Discord earlier today about zero RB. The sort of irony that zero RB is not really in vogue. I don't see people doing them as much in these big boards. Last year, all of the intelligentsia in the best ball community said how good zero RB was. And it was a little weird because we knew that the rookie RBs weren't that good last year, but we sort of convinced ourselves that zero RB is kind of like the one true way to build. A lot of people did anyway. And then I don't see it as much this year when their rookie RBs are supposed to be so much better. So, again, I think Davis made this point, and it's a good one, that this really could be a big opportunity to zig when everyone's zagging and do a little more zero RB build. Jalen Hurts in the first round at 7 is weird. Sort of raises a few eyebrows, and the immediate thing is like, oh God, please don't throw this out, because I don't want to spend an hour and 20 minutes on a draft getting thrown out. But we shall see. But yeah, so zero RB might be very viable. And it's easier to go zero RB, I think, on this sort of right side of the board, because you're not tempted by, don't pass on, I would never pass on Saquon. But let's see. I will take BTJ here. I think these are all very viable picks here, but I'll just go with the ranks. I don't want to take big stands in this area. I will have a decision to make if this guy, he takes McCaffrey. So to me, there's a big decision between Neighbors and Ginty here. The fun pick, I'm doing the big board. I love the rookies would be to take Ginty. I think if I'm going to preach this zero RB thing, I'm going to take Neighbors. So let's start with Neighbors here. Oh, nice. Okay. So Buck, you are in here, and you took Gibbs. All right. Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you were able to hop in. Hopefully this draft ends up being a good one, and we don't get it tossed out by the Jalen Hurts guy. Maybe he's just really excited for the Super Bowl. Yeah, there goes Ginty, 16. There's a chance, Buck, that you're going to have to make the Brock Bowers decision here if we don't know what Wartzel's going to do. Yeah, he takes Bucky Irving, which is a little crazy. So, yeah, interested to see what you do here. Gibbs too ridiculous to pass up, but I'm close to taking Lamb over him. I don't disagree. We were taking Lamb at the what was he? Was he the number 2 pick? It went CMC and then Lamb last year, and now we've pushed Lamb into the middle of the first round because Dak got hurt. And they're going to be better, right? Like the Cowboys were such a mess last year. Things have got to be better. Yeah, he was the 102. Yeah, I agree. I think I have no problem taking Lamb there. I think the Cowboys are going to be a lot better. If they do take Gene T, like people are saying, I think that's just going to open up the offense, and it's going to be like a rising tide situation. I think WR should be Chase, Lamb, and everyone else. I agree with that. I think that sounds right to me. So I see you went with Taylor. I can't say last year I was a big Taylor guy, and that definitely cost me because he smashed in the playoffs. We were talking about him earlier in the Discord, but I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, he was a 101 a couple years back, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. It was either him or CMC, and then I think he got hurt, if I'm not mistaken, that year. Plays in a dome, offense should be better. It's always a little scary that A-Rich is going to eat his lunch around the goal line, but I mean, you could have said that about Saquon, and that argument would have taken you away from the guy you really needed. Lots up in the air with Indy, but JT is not up in the air. That is true. That is 100% true. Elite workload. Triple RB start here for our man Buck. Love to see it. I love to see it, and I think this year you can build in so many ways. I mean, it's not a bit if it works, right? I mean, my goodness. I see nothing wrong with this here. I think for me coming up, I think I want James Cook if he's here. I did want JSN. I'm very high on JSN this season. I could push Cook and hope that Foxy Styles isn't going to go triple RB. But I think I'm going to take him because I'm kind of agnostic to these receivers. I'll be pretty much happy with most of them. And so I will kind of let Foxy make this call for me. I think DJ Moore would be my preferred pick. I would have taken Mike Evans next. Yeah, I'm just going to take DJ Moore here. But I have no problem taking any of these guys with the exception of I'm a little skeeved out on Rashee Rice. I worry about the injury and suspension not being fully baked in for an ADP of 44. I mean, this guy could literally miss half the season. And then, does he come back and have the role he did at the beginning of last year? I don't know. The Worthy breakout is real. Yeah, and Zay Flowers, I really prefer to have with Lamar. He's kind of an interesting player. But MHJ, Devonta, JMO, that sounds true, Buck, about Foxy. Name is very familiar. But yeah, I don't know. That could well be right. I like what he's doing. He's got Lamar, Henry, CMC, Mike Evans. Not a team you could build last season. I don't believe, at the ADPs where he is now. So I like the Lamar Henry start because I think you're just capturing like the vast majority of the touchdown equity on a very good offense. And I think in my head last year, I kind of didn't like the QB running back thing, thinking they would cannibalize each other. But now I have learned that this game is just like stack the good offenses. I mean, I definitely see the wisdom in doing what he did. Buck, I like the Devonta pick. I think that's a great pick there. There's not really much to say. He's a little too cheap, right? I mean, he got pushed up into the 30s in the last big board, and I don't see why his situation is any worse than last year. So, like that pick. Rashee Rice goes. Where did I missed Worthy go? But it must have been early. Yeah, I agree with that. Devonta is a big value. So Worthy went at 31 to the Jalen Hurts guy. Worthy has been getting pushed up quite a bit, and I don't necessarily see that as wrong. Especially if you don't get Barkley or Brown, I think it's leverage by omission. I would agree. I mean, if you're in the playoffs or the finals against, if the Eagles are good this year and they've carried a lot of teams, and you're up against a Saquon team and you have Devonta and it's a Devonta week, you're feeling pretty good. So I agree there. I think that makes a lot of sense. People forget how good Devonta Smith is. He's a darn good player. It's just easy to get lost behind Brown and Saquon in this sort of popular imagination of the best ball world here. But we will see what Jay Puppy does. Nothing too crazy in this draft since the Jalen Hurts pick in the first round. It's interesting. I know Davis is out on Chuba Hubbard at this ADP. Yeah, he's fallen a bit in this room. I personally like him. I think I was hearing the leg up guys like him. I mean, they could draft another running back, right? Like clearly they tried to with Brooks, and that didn't work out, unfortunately. I mean, I feel bad. He tore his ACL again, so he's probably, his career at this point has to be considered somewhat in jeopardy. Will they draft another running back to try to supplant him? Maybe, but I think they extended Chuba, and I'm a little more bullish on Carolina's offense than some. So I don't see anything wrong with his ADP where it is in the 40s. I would definitely take him if he falls to me. I feel like he won't. Yeah. Dr. Drago gets him at 56. For myself, I think in the ideal world, I would take Tet McMillan. My wide receiver room feels very strong. He would be a high upside rookie. The smoke is that he's going to go to the Patriots, meaning I can at least feel better about Drake May being my quarterback. I could tell myself a story that I'm building a stack, because if I'm not exactly dying to get a T-Law stack, either Cam Ward or Sanders. And then, I mean, Caleb Williams is pretty expensive for what he is. So I'm going to take Tet McMillan here. And then I'm going to take one of these running backs. And I will put my faith in the hands of Mr. Maddock and take Omarion Hampton. Could I pick him out of a lineup? No, but he is the highest ranked player and the highest by ADP. So I'm going to assume that he is good. Buck, I know you are the conspiracy guy, right? Like that's your claim to fame in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. But I agree. I think Tyreek could be gone. I'm a Dolphins fan, but I am highly bearish on Tyreek Hill. And we were blaming a lot of a bad season on this wrist thing. And I'm a little sketched out that he's lost a step. And when you're a pure speed receiver and you're no longer the speediest guy on the field, like we got real problems. I think Waddle is criminally undervalued. I mean, people were taking him in the late second, early third last year. You know, he has his, a little AD in him where he's got to make his, weekly locker room visit. But if Tyreek is gone, he is a smash where he is going. So yeah, I agree with you there. Other conspiracy: if Browns lose Super Bowl, Browns. Yes, I could see this happening too. I have not personally read Inner Excellence, so I don't know exactly the message in there. I don't know if there's a section on demanding trades, but I do know wide receivers can have diva tendencies. And yeah, I mean, the Eagles could blow it up if they lose. We'll see. I mean, it is clear they're playing a somewhat joyless brand of football over there in that wide receiver room. So anything's possible. I think with those elite wide receiver twos, your Waddles, your Devonta Smiths, I would have said like your Tank Dell before the injury, that kind of player. You do have that contingent upside of if the wide receiver one goes down or gets traded or something. They can just step into the role where they do actually absorb a lot of the target share, where their job isn't just going to stay the same. And I think Devonta is in that category of guy who has that hidden upside. Vrabel was his coach who drafted him, and Pats need a wide receiver. Well, there we go. I mean, it seems like that's where the mocks are all putting him, right? So, hopefully that comes to fruition there. Jalen Reed goes, and Brendan Ayuk, two guys who a bit murky. The whole Niners receiving core is really weird with Ayuk and Debo, who are last year very high picks. This year have slipped a lot, and partly because of uncertainty, partly because of injury. I don't think staying away is the right move, but I have limited my exposure to them. I do have a lot of Jennings. I've been taking a lot of Juwan Jennings myself. I don't see anything wrong with Pearsall, but Pearsall does go pretty high if they do bring the band back together, because it really did take the Ayuk injury, the Debo pneumonia, and a few weird things for Pearsall to get there. He had a weird season last year, as we all know. It's pretty high for him, but again, if they ship Debo out, then he's going to rise quite a bit. Yeah, it's interesting. I sort of compare him with McMillan. If they bring Godwin back, is he really worth a pick in the 7th round? Probably not, right? I mean, he's the wide receiver 3. Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't be like a horrible pick. But I think when you have Evans, Godwin, Otten, and McMillan there, McMillan is going to struggle to earn enough targets to pay this ADP. But again, a lot of contingent upside. Second-year breakout is possible. It's just, to me, that's a click I'm not as comfortable making as I am Juwan Jennings, who I feel like has carved out pretty strong roll here. So as I come up, let's look at QB, because now it's time to start thinking about quarterbacks. If I had Evans here, which I didn't get, I ended up with more, I probably would take Baker. I'd probably do Baker, Jalen. As it stands, I could potentially do Jalen, Baker. I'm going to take Juwan Jennings here, I think. I am tempted by Aaron Jones. You know what? I'm going to take Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones is the last of this tier of running backs there. So Jennings goes. That's a little unfortunate. That's who I would have taken. I have brought that on myself. I am going to take David Njoku here. And Buck, this is my secret alpha for you, and it's not secret, and it's probably not alpha. But the Browns promoted their tight end coach to their offensive coordinator, and I feel like this has gone a little underreported. Njoku is a good player to begin with, but I could see Njoku having a monster season next year. I really could. And so I am very high on Njoku. I definitely took him ahead of ADP, but there's no way he was coming back. Yeah, people don't know. I feel like this went very underreported, and I hope I'm not spreading fake news, but I'm pretty sure that is what they did. Yeah, Tommy Rees is the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. He was promoted to the position in January 2025 after serving as the team's tight end coach and pass game specialist in 2024. So, that is my, secret alpha that nobody seems to care about. And who knows, it could be nothing, right? You can't just feature the tight end every play. Who is the QB? Now that is the question. Obviously, I don't, doesn't sound like it's going to be Jameis, even as much fun as that is at the highs. I really don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. They're definitely a candidate to bring in one of the kind of dust ball veterans, like a Kirk Cousins kind of thing. Regardless, though, as long as it's someone competent, I think Njoku could be the focal point of that offense. I imagine they'll bring in another receiver. I mean, they had, I think Moore is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. It's not like Tillman is, lighting the world on fire. So anyway, that is my sales pitch on Njoku. Take that for what you will, because I haven't really seen that take out there, but I think it's a nice story I can tell myself in February. So here go the quarterbacks. We got Purdy goes, Goff goes. Buck, let's see your team. Gibbs, Taylor, Brown, Pacheco, Devonta, Waddle, Luther Burden, Jacoby Myers. Let's see who you take. Kyler. Adding Kyler to the team. I like that. Because you did need a quarterback. Kyler can get there with his legs. I like your team. I'm a little more bearish on Pacheco, but I think that's something that's been discussed somewhat exhaustively. He fell quite a bit, right? Wasn't his ADP in the late 60s, early 70s, and you got him in the 90s? So I don't see anything wrong with that. If he's healthy, he's a smash at 91. I'll say that. We'll see. We will see. I hope he is healthy. I hope he, is able to play better in the Super Bowl, because I feel like America deserves more than Kareem Hunt plowing forward for 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Although he looked a little spry at the beginning of last game, I will say that. Yeah, Buck, this is 100% it, right? I mean, if he was out for the year, we would be probably more likely to draft him than him. He's like being punished for coming back early, right? Like, if he didn't come back, we'd be like, oh, he's going to, be healthy next year. Maybe they'll, there'd be some talk about them drafting someone. It's not like he has this like incredible pedigree. But yeah, I think we've, Jonnu good. I would have taken Jonnu here. I think I'm going to take Caleb to pair with Moore. I need a quarterback. I'm going to take Caleb here. And then I might take May also. I might just do double tap quarterback, but I really like Najee and I really like Matthew Golden. This is kind of tough. I think if Golden falls, I'm taking Golden. All right, we'll take Matthew Golden. We're going to take Matthew Golden here because I'm afraid wide receiver does get really thin on the way back. A couple of rookies to round out this team, and hopefully Caleb is who you need. It was tempting to take May there, but yeah, back to Pacheco. I mean, yeah, I think we're punishing him for coming back to playing with his team. I think my big board plan will include hammering at least 2 wide receivers in the final rounds every time. Buck, I disagree. For me, my plan is to hammer 2 running backs at the end, and I think it's only because I've talked myself into at least one of those running backs is going to end up being quite good and having a real role. I mean, I've only done about 15 or so of these, maybe a couple more, and I have found myself hating my teams when I'm like clicking on those really dusty late receivers and when I'm clicking on like some exciting rookie. And again, it's definitely like a little bit of a mystery box kind of thing, right? Like I can click on RJ Harvey or LaQuint Allen Jr. or Donovan Edwards and tell myself like, this could be who you need, but I have no idea who these dudes are, right? But it's like they don't have a team attached as a rookie. So, I mean, it could be Kyron Williams, but it also, it's probably Will Shipley or Dylan Laube, right? But the late receivers, when you're in this like really deep area, I don't know. It doesn't feel as good. I feel like it's harder for the late round rookies to see the field than it is for them to see the field as running backs. And maybe that's a little bit of a leak for me. I'm not saying I'm never taking late round wide receiver because I do want to mix those guys in. But it does feel like a thinner bet. Like the receivers in the 14th to 16th round, I feel like they're going to see the field versus the guys in the like 17th to 20th. And I mean, that could be true with the running backs too, right? I mean, those guys all might be big fat zeros. But anyway, that's just... I think there's quite few after pick 200 that have roles. Yeah. I agree. There's also a lot of landmines. But yeah, I mean, Wandale is criminally underpriced. Demario Douglas, I don't think you're not the Demario Douglas guy in the Discord. There is a Demario Douglas like truther in the Matic Discord. After pick 200, there are less wide receivers I like than running back, or less running backs I like than wide receivers. And again, and that's fair, right? Like, I think when you're drafting, if you're happier with how your teams end with receivers, and then I would definitely do that. maybe I'm sure this will flip, right? Like it's February. We've only done, 15 or 16 of these. I just don't feel like I have those comfy receiver clicks late where I'm still in the phase of like sprinkling in these random running backs. I see you took Drake May. I think that's a strong pick there. Yeah, Whittington. I've definitely been taking him some. Atwell's a free agent, and so is Robinson, I believe, and Kupp demanded a trade. So he's definitely going to be a riser. They're a threat to draft somebody, but Whittington's been effective. He was a bit of a preseason darling last season. So with me up, I will. I think I'm going to take T-Law here to stack with my number one receiver. I don't think Foxy would have taken him. I'll be a little annoyed if he takes Christian Kirk because that's who I want. Okay, he takes Likely. So I am. Oh, but Devin Neal is right here, huh? I'm going to take Christian Kirk to round out this Jacksonville thing I have going. Christian Kirk was the guy we were taking in the 40s last year, and he got hurt. But I think he's supposed to be fine, and now he's all the way buried in 134. I love Christian Kirk this year. I think at his ADP that's one of the bigger values. Yeah, Kupp definitely on the trade block. Be interesting to see where he goes. These drafts are so hard to do before you have all the information, and that is kind of what makes them fun. Is when it's done, you can look and see, what kind of stacks you ended up building because you don't have all the information that you would ordinarily want. But yeah, my pick there was between Kirk and Devin Neal, the patron saint of the Discord. If you don't have enough Devin Neal, Whittington, Wilson, Malik Washington, Brown, Butte, Davis, Calvin Austin, Trey Tucker. I agree with some of these names. Whittington, yes. Wilson, yeah, he'll definitely have a job. Malik Washington scares me that the Dolphins will add a third receiver who's better than him. It's not like he has, what was he, a 6th round pick last year, a 5th round pick? It's not like he has the draft capital to where they're like really attached to him. I'm not sure if you mean Noah Brown. I love Noah Brown. I'm a Noah Brown truther. I hope he's healthy. I think he's a highly underrated player. Butte, I think, is just replacement level. Like I have trouble clicking that name. Davis. Who is Davis? I'm blanking. I'm not sure who you're talking about, and I should know. Oh, Gabe Davis. Ugh. Yeah. Gabe Davis definitely could make a comeback. Trey Tucker, interesting player, kind of boom bust. Calvin Austin. Yeah. I mean, those are definitely some names here. They should see the field. They shouldn't be zeros. So I think as 20th round picks, you could definitely do a whole lot worse than those guys. Love Kirk this year, hated him last year. I had no Kirk last year, and I'm in the same exact boat. I think he was way overvalued last season, even without the injury. And now this year, we're acting like he's. We're acting like he's nothing, and he's not. He's still a good player. I think he's going to, if he's healthy, that offense should be better. I mean, everything went wrong for Jacksonville last year, and we're getting the Duval discount, which is pretty sweet because everyone saw that coach look like an absolute dope, and now no one wants the Jaguars. It's like, well, I think it's going to be fine. think it's gonna be fine. Ah, you meant Diami Brown. Yeah. I mean, again, Spike Week, excuse me, Spike Week guys. And that's the name of the game, right? Like, just hope that week comes in the playoffs. Going back to this, I agree in the theory. And if it's August 15th and Dolphins haven't added a receiver and Tyreek's gone, we're going to be taking Malik Washington in the 7th round. I just have trouble. And so, yeah, I think that's a fine bet to make, right? Because it's not like there's no universe in which that happens. I just really see them as a candidate to add a receiver either in the draft or trade or free agency. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's hard to judge the Dolphins season last year. Tua missed so much. Hill was injured and had to arrest, and everything just kind of fell apart for Miami. I just would feel a lot better about Malik Washington if they had invested more in him. I just don't see him as kind of this lock to, even be on the roster next year. As a Patriots fan, I think Butte showed some dog last year in a connection with May. Possible return to early college self. Sorry, my cat just jumped off the bed right behind me. Yeah, it's possible. It's certainly possible. And again, when we're talking these 20th round picks, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think the best ball intelligentsia is going to tell you that he's hold on, I am picking here. What do I want to do? I'm going to take Restrepo. He seems like a pretty exciting rookie from what I've heard. Sounds like they could use him in a lot of ways. I'll take him, and then I'll take another rookie in Colston Loveland. Okay. Yeah, I think we're all assuming Butte is gone and kind of discounting the possibility that he might, have carved out that role and that chemistry. He's still pretty young, right? How old is he? He's 22. Yeah. All right. You know what? I'm a little more in than I thought. Yeah, 6th round pick, which always makes me a little nervous about the last draft capital. Yeah. All right. You know what? I'll start sprinkling him in late, but I'll make sure you're not in the room. I don't want to take your late round guy, but no, I think that makes sense, right? I mean, there's a possibility of a little bit of that some of what we saw this year was real. I mean, he certainly was a bit of a stats model darling, and yeah. All right, you've won me over, Buck. All right, so you are coming up. Let's look at your team. Kyler, May, Gibbs, Taylor, Brown, Pacheco, and then Devonta, Waddle, Burton, Myers, Mims, Wicks, and Ferguson. And I would bet you take Hunter Henry, but we will see what you do. Cole Kmet. I was certain you were taking Hunter Henry, and I was wrong. But I do think there's a tendency to kind of lazily overstack stuff. So if you are more on Kmet than on Henry, then I think that makes sense. Komet was a guy that I kept taking in like DFS and weekly stuff, thinking like eventually he's gonna have his week, and he kind of never did last year. Which I think was weird, because he's a good player, and you have a young QB, and getting the tight end involved is sometimes like the best way to make them comfortable. And so I am leaving the light on for Komet. I think that's a fine pick. Fine pick there. Komet, the new Laporta. See, this is you should be writing clickbait titles for YouTube videos, because I mean, my God, I don't know that Komet is the new Laporta. I hope for your sake in this big board he is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Last year was so weird. They were using, who was it they were using over him at the beginning? Like I'm blanking on the name. Some really Everett, like something Everett over Komet. It was a nightmare. That whole team was so dysfunctional that it just has to get better. So yeah, I think the Komet pick is fine there. Sorry about that. I have a foster cat who started attacking something he wasn't supposed to. So the later QB start going. Adam Thielen goes to Bucks here. I think that's a good pick. I don't think he's going to retire. I think that risk is overstated. I think he's a fine addition to this wide receiver room that you're building. I think for myself, I need to start adding some of these running backs in. I think Ben Johnson. This is my favorite Ben Johnson bit. Is just everyone just like porting over the various Lions players onto these Bears, and they're. But I do think there's Komet is a buy low here. I got no problem with that pick. But do recall that Laporta was pretty bad to start the season. Like, he got off to a really slow start. And if you took him in BBM, I mean, he was not until the playoffs. It was not looking great. So let's see. What should I do? I could take the exciting Jackson Dart, or I could take the boring Matt Stafford. I'm going to take Jackson Dart because I do feel like with Caleb and T-Law, I have a little bit of stability. I kind of want to swing for a little upside here. And my next pick. All right, I'm going to take Jaden Higgins. Someone highlighted in one of Davis's videos. He sold me. I think that will round out my wide receiver room. My running back room might really be too thin with Cook, Hampton, and Aaron Jones. But we shall see. I definitely have more rookies than I normally take in these, especially with this allegedly being kind of a weaker rookie class for receivers. But these are some of the guys that I've heard some hype about, and hopefully can pan out here. Yoshi Voss goes next. Yoshi Voss is a name I may not click. I don't know how many drafts I'm going to do this offseason, probably around 1,000, and I don't know if I'll click Yoshi Voss once. There's a guy who earns no targets I think he is one of the most replaceable wide receivers in the league. I am not trying to come down on Shaboyle 10 or suggest I know more than him, but I have big trouble with clicking on Yoshi Bus this season. So that is probably the sign that he is going to just absolutely smash weeks 16 and 17 next year. But yeah, I have trouble clicking on that name. Kendre goes, Garendo goes. Again, we're in this. At this point, you're taking either backup running backs, timeshare running backs, or rookie running backs. Austin Eckler goes to Bucks. I like that pick. I mean, he has a role. Definitely still has a little bit of juice left. I think if he hadn't have gotten that concussion, he'd probably be going even higher because he missed a fair amount of time, kind of when there were a lot of eyeballs on the Commanders. They really, I'm glad they got him back for their game with the Eagles, so that they were at full strength. But it did seem like they missed him during that stretch run, and they were able to overcome that. But yeah, I like the Eckler pick there. Hopkins goes, Whittington goes, Diami Brown. So they apparently have access to your list, to the Bucks list of late round receivers, all going hand over fist. A.D. Mitchell, one of Davis's favorites here, goes. Jordan Mason goes. Another name I have a little trouble clicking on because I just have to imagine San Francisco adds a running back. It's a little bit of a mess over there. But, high upside, potential high upside pick. If CMC goes down, whoever the backup running back is, we've seen can legitimately be a league winner. Roschon's a name I have some trouble clicking on. Again, I'm not just going to port over David Montgomery onto the backup running back or the second running back. Strong candidate to add someone to that room with Swift and Roschon. Nick Chubb goes. I don't even know if he's going to play this year. Rooting for Nick Chubb, but I'm not clicking on him. Oh, I know you were. I know you were not just saying, "Oh, he's Laporta." I know you were being somewhat facetious there, but I agree. I think that there's some significant room for upside from Laporta. Harold Fannin goes to Jay Puppy, someone who was a early Discord favorite, and now there's some FUD about Fannin. We shall see. Taysom. I mean, you don't have to twist my arm. I think I had 46% Taysom in DK. So you do not have to convince me to take Taysom Hill ever. I hope he's able to recover from the knee injury. I mean, he tore his ACL, which is tough because I think is he 34 or 35, so he's getting up there. But yeah, I mean, you have someone who could potentially play quarterback snaps, running back snaps, and tight end snaps at pick 198 for an offense that for the first 2 weeks we thought was the best offense in the league, before the injuries just absolutely decimated them. I got no problem with the Taysom punt there. I think that's fine. Rookie and Will Marks goes. So this guy who took oh my God, he took 5 quarterbacks. Yikes. Hurts, Mahomes, Dak, Penix, and JJ McCarthy. My God. Okay. I am going to just take a couple of these running backs. These late round punts. I'm going to take a couple of them. I'm going to take D. Giddens, and I am going to take Brashard Smith, who's getting some hype at the Senior Bowl. Apparently a very good pass catcher. Don't ask me for any more information about him. I have now exhausted all my knowledge on Brashard Smith, but people who are more plugged into this are telling me he's a good pick, so I'm going to take him. So that is the kind of hard-hitting analysis you are going to get in round 18 of the big board from Chad Candles. But in all seriousness, I mean, you know, we're doing our best with these like late round rookie selections. You just don't know. There's so many unknowns. We don't know their draft capital. I mean, nobody was taking Tyrone Tracy last year in the big board, right? Like he was projected to get drafted in the 7th round or go undrafted. And then he lands one of the better landing spots you could get to because they had such a hole at running back. And then he ended up being good, right? So, I mean, you could, and the people projecting him in the 7th and 10th are the like film grinders and the ball knowers. Like at the end of the day, you know, for me, I just want to mix up some of these late round names and hope to strike gold rather than do what I did last year, which was have 45% Dylan Laube because I just believed the hype. Like I don't want to do that again. You know, yeah, if I had 45% Tracy, I would have been pretty happy. But when you think about how many of these rookie running backs there are and then how few are going to really succeed, the odds of you hitting that are pretty low. So for me, the best thing I can do is make educated guesses and take stands, but nothing in the range of 40%. I'm not doing that again. That was bad. Favorite spot for RB rookies aside from Cowboys? It's a good question. I think New England is going to take somebody. I think Ramondre, they really want to get rid of him. And I think there's definitely kind of an underrated opening there for someone. And you're a Pats fan, so I don't know if you agree with that. But I've been thinking New England is a potential sneaky spot. I'm trying to just sort of mentally go through where I want. I think Cleveland has a bit of an opening because I mean Chubb's injured. It's Jerome Ford. They could be a little dicey though because, like you said, there's not really a great quarterback situation there. I personally think the Jaguars have some room. I'm not sold on Etienne. You know, they tried to add Tank Bigsby. He looked fine for a few weeks early, but he kind of stinks. I could see someone taking, you know, what starts out as the RB2 role and then winning the job by the end of the year, sort of like a Bucky Irving takeover. So I think Jacksonville is interesting. Trying to think of anyone else. Yeah, I think those are the main ones for me. They did Andre a bag and then dump Mayo. I think Andre has another year to start it, but a rookie will challenge him. Yeah, and I think that's, you know, that sounds right. You know, they're not. I don't know the cap situation enough to know if they can get rid of Stevenson, but I know they were trying to bench him for Gibson, and Gibson's not very good. But I think that's an offense on the ascendancy, and I definitely see them adding somebody. And again, I think it's. I liked Ramondre for years. I thought he was kind of underrated, but I don't know if it was just mental, like the fumbling stuff was getting a little out of hand. Yeah, I'm gonna take Damian Martinez here, and then close with a tight end. So if you think that, then I think Bigsby is a really incredible pick. based on where he goes. I think the Jags offense is going to be a lot better. Etienne just seems like he's out of juice. And I've never been impressed with Tank Bigsby. But, you know, if they're willing to give him... Wow, he took Juwan Johnson. He took a fourth tight end. Dear God. All right. Well, Gunnar Helm, welcome to the team. That was dumb. I thought Foxy Style was much more likely to take a running back than a fourth tight end. When I say that was dumb, I mean me, not Foxy, who clearly knows what he's doing. So I will close with Gunnar Helm, who has a sweet name. And round out this team here. So we have Caleb T-Law and Jackson Dart at quarterback, Cook, Omari and Hampton, Aaron Jones, DJ Giddens, Brashard Smith, and Damian Martinez at running back, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, DJ Moore, Ted McMillan, Matthew Golden, Christian Kirk, Xavier Restrepo, and Jaden Higgins at wide receiver, and Njoku, Loveland, and Helm at the tight end position. And do another one. We will do another one. And oh my gosh, it fires right away. So let's see. Let's see how we end up. And I have the exact same spot again. Cool. Pretty big on Bigsby this year. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a bet on that offense, and it's a bet against Etienne, which is one I am, definitely keen to make. Where is Etienne going? Yeah, 107. 107. Yikes. Splits work well. And anytime you're reading the Underdog blurbs, you're getting the best, information. You're dealing with a serious drafter when they're on stream reading this. But yeah, all jokes aside, it does seem like he ended up in a timeshare at best, and is a candidate to get replaced. Tank Bigsby there at 126. Yeah, 766 yards. It's actually more than I thought he had. And if we look at who he's going around, yeah, I mean that's reasonable for him, right? People are going to be more likely to click the fun names like Cam Scatterbo and Devin Neal. He gets a little sandwich there. But honestly, if you told me Cam Scatterbo got 766 yards this year, and that's what you're getting with Tank Bigsby, you're probably like, okay, that sounds right. All right, Buck, thank you so much for stopping by. It was fun hanging out. Hopefully we can draft again. Yeah, take care, man. Really appreciate it. So this draft, it looks like we are getting a early run of running backs here. Probably going to go for another 0 RB team. Felt like the last room I had was a little thin. But we shall see. All right. Brian Thomas goes at 8. I was able to get him at 11 last time. So it's going to be a little bit of a different draft than last time. This would be okay. Amon-Ra does not fall to me. I will take Neighbors again, because he was so good and his quarterback play was so bad last year. Let us see what we end up with. CMC goes next. CMC goes, and then let's see what Joe Donnell who does. I feel like I've drafted with Joe Donald too. He takes Gene T. Okay. So now I am in the position of, do I take A.J. Brown or do I take Bowers? Do I take Drake London? I am going to take Drake London and buy this Penix to London thing as real. Penix seemed to have only have eyes for Drake London last year. Granted, I think Mooney missed that last game when London had like 18 targets or whatever. But I think this could be a situation where we're just going to see a guy absolutely peppered with targets. And so we will start with Neighbors in London here and do a little more 0 RB builds once again and see how that can end up. Bowers goes at 18, A.J. Brown at 19. Jonathan Taylor goes next. Again, Jonathan Taylor, kind of guy, huge in the fantasy playoffs last year. Took a lot of teams into the finals with him. All right. I'm going to see if I can't drag anyone else into here. So give me one moment. All right, just inviting a few more people to come hang out. Terry McLaurin goes at 28. Terry McLaurin goes at 28. It is difficult this year to get McLaurin and Daniels together without really forcing it. Just the way that the board has kind of laid itself out this season. Last year, they were spread apart, but they were also in the kind of the same side of the draft board. So you could end up with a lot of McLaurin Daniels teams. So it's not just that Daniels is pushed up a lot this year. It's just that it's a little wonky how they've fallen. So it's a little difficult to get those two together. I had someone stop by and then escape as I was trying to get more people in here. Devastation Nation. But hopefully they will be back, because you just simply don't want to miss this. You do not want to miss this drafting here. So I'm going to put Worthy in the queue. I'd be pretty excited if I could get him here. Neighbors London, Worthy feels pretty fun as a start. I am considering taking Josh Allen, but I feel like he's not going to fall to me. But maybe he will. Boy. No, Josh Allen goes. So we are on the clock. I have no problem taking MHJ. I have no problem taking Devonta. I do really like Worthy. I think the breakout is real. So I'm going to take Worthy here. This is quite the fall for Chase Brown. We'll see if Jay Donald really wants to start out with 3 running backs, and he doesn't. So I was doing 0 RB, but this is a pretty big drop for Chase Brown. So I'm going to take him here. Yes, the risk is that they add a running back, and Chase Brown loses some of the work, if not most of the work. I'm going to take that risk. I think even if they add somebody, Chase Brown is not going to 0. Bengals offense is something I want pieces of. And if I can get that falling value there, I will in fact take it. So pretty happy here with Brown, Neighbors, London, and see if we can't get anyone hanging out here. All right, Mixon goes. I feel like there's a huge difference between Chase Brown and Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, I have real trouble believing that Houston's going to give Joe Mixon the workload that they got this year. But I mean, you never know, right? Coaches get these running backs that they think they can rely on, but he is a guy with not a lot of juice. We shall see, though. We shall see. 15 picks away. A lot of picks between my next one and this one, but so far, happy with the way the team is coming out. Opening up the draft board. Nothing is popping out as too unusual. Nobody going 4 of any position in a row. I was going to say that the closest to a true piss boy is me, but I interrupted that with the Chase Brown selection. So this guy does pair McLaurin and Daniels, which, this feels like a pretty strong start, but we will see if he's able to make up the wide receiver firepower. McLaurin as your wide receiver 1 feels a little thin, but we'll see. We'll see if he's able to land that plane there. So Daniels goes, Devonta goes, Tet McMillan goes. Again, nothing too out of the ordinary in this draft so far. Joe Burrow goes to the Jamar Chase guy. That, can't argue with that too heavily. And then takes Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze going at 49 troubles me. People are seeing a breakout that I am having trouble seeing. Odunze was not great last year. And I don't think it was just quarterback play or the offense. Like, I have real trouble taking him so far ahead of where we were taking him last year, when we really just didn't see what I thought we were supposed to see from him. But again, Ben Johnson coming in, people are excited for that offense and do want parts of it, but I do not know. So Adams goes. I think Adams is a great value here at 50. We were taking him in the early third last year, late second, early third. And it's not like he had any kind of great drop off. I mean, it took him till the playoffs to get rolling, but he did get rolling eventually. Addison goes, Metcalf goes, Olave goes. So we're seeing a very heavy run of running backs go off the board. I think if it comes to me and Sam Laporta's there, I'm going to take Sam Laporta. Again, this guy was going in the second, third round last year. And now we've pushed him into the 60s for some reason. My laundry's ready and it scared the cat. Okay. So Laporta does go. Man. Alvin Kamara feels so gross. All right. I'm going to take Chris Godwin here because I am kind of agnostic to Kamara, Walker, or Caleb Johnson, whereas these running back or wide receivers, I do feel like I want Godwin over all of them. So Kamara goes to Jay Donnell, and then I think I'm going to take Ken Walker, assuming he does not take 4 running backs, which I doubt he will. And if he does, I'll just take Caleb Johnson, and it's fine. It's a little bit of a... We'll see. Okay, he takes Jerry Jeudy. So, yeah, I'm going to just take Ken Walker here. Had a little bit of a down year, but had a lot of injuries. I like Seattle's offense. I think that they're going to be fine. I like taking Walker there. I think that's a fine pick. So starting with Brown and Walker, and then going Neighbors, London, Worthy, and Godwin, I'm pretty happy with this team, especially considering starting out over on the right side of the board where I don't feel like the teams end up looking as good. This is not a bad looking team. Not a bad looking team. All right. So Debo goes, Henderson goes, Debo goes, Tracy goes, Sutton goes, Caleb Johnson goes. Again, nothing too out of the ordinary or unexpected with any of these yet. But we shall see. Mahomes goes, let's see, does this guy have Rashee Rice? No. He's the guy who takes Mahomes at 68, right at ADP, unstacked, because that's the thing you do here. I don't understand Mahomes' ADP. It's too high. He just hasn't produced like that in a long time. It's clear the Chiefs just don't care about the regular season as much. I know I took Worthy, but I think it's a little different taking Worthy there, who's a wide receiver, who had very good production, versus taking a onesie position like a quarterback, where you can get that same production in the hundreds. That's just not a great pick. So big run of receivers, or of running backs goes, which makes me glad that I did take Walker here, because if I needed a running back, we'd be back in Aaron Jones land, and that's not great. But again, we have committed to the zero RB bit, so we are going to be taking some running backs and tight ends here. I don't think we are going to take Baker unless we end up with Jalen McMillan falling to us. And Baker goes to the Mike Evans drafter. That's fine, because Baker's probably not coming around, so I got no problem with that. He also has Bucky. So this guy's building out a very sensible team here, which is fine. And McMillan goes. So Jacoby Myers is one of the least exciting plays you can take, but I think he's such a great best ball pick, because I do think he has kind of a bit of a floor ceiling combo. He can randomly have a spike week, but he also just, I feel like he just helps keep plowing your team forward. So I got no problem with Jacoby Myers. I think he's a good pick. I'm not huge on Andrews. I'm not huge on Mark Andrews, but it's really hard for me to pass him for one of the other tight ends here. I think I'm just going to take Mark Andrews, sort of take my medicine. It's fine. He's being punished for the drop in the playoffs that everybody watched. But he's still a fantastic player, great tight end. So we will pick up Andrews there and move on. Again, not every pick is going to be, scintillating here, and that is definitely one of them. We continue. Downs goes, Golden goes. Not seeing anything too out of the ordinary. Aaron Jones goes, Ricky Pearsall goes, and Hawkinson. So Hawkinson goes to the Justin Jefferson drafter, who definitely looks like they take stacking at least somewhat seriously with the Hurts AJ Brown combo. Chicken dinner here, just taking Pacheco. This guy, my God. Well, we've all got to start somewhere. Kyler goes. So starting to look at who might come around. Najee Harris. I don't want to say he's a bit of a cheat code at 112, but he is going to go somewhere. He's going to get 1,000 yards, and everyone's going to be annoyed, and he's going to have his games where he has, 59 yards and 2 touchdowns and hit your lineup. I think he has a chance to go to a much better offense than Pittsburgh. Not the most exciting player. Nobody is ever thrilled about taking Najee Harris, but if you give me the choice between him and the other running backs in this range, Charbonnet, who is almost purely contingent upside, Brian Robinson, who feels like a replacement level running back, and Etienne, who I think is trending slowly to zero. I mean, he got outplayed by Tank Bigsby, and Tank Bigsby is not very good in my humble estimation. Although, I don't hate Bigsby as a pick because he is a bet against Etienne, and I think the Jags offense is going to be a lot better. So we will see if I end up with Harris here. I'm still 7 picks out. A couple of these guys do need running backs. It is devastating, but it's true, right? I mean, my God, if nobody runs into the back of their offensive lineman quite with as much zest as Travis Etienne, with the exception maybe of his backfield mate Tank Bigsby. Like if in a points per running into your lineman league, like he'd be the 101. Etienne goes to TJ Chip there. Speak of the devil. This DeMarter guy, this guy needs a running back like something else. But he seems like he might be committed to the 0 RB bit. We will see. Sometimes it's the guy who least needs a running back that takes the most. Like this guy is just absolutely collecting running backs. A-Chain, Mixon, Hampton, Henderson. Good for you. You go off, King. Just take all the running backs you need, brother. Nobody's going to stop you here. At least I won't. Takes Travis Kelce, who might or might not be retiring. That is not a pick I would like to make. I will switch the music for you. I'm going to be taking Najee here, and then let's see what we want to do next. I need a quarterback, huh? All right, let's take Najee. Let's see. All right, switching up the music. Give a little something different for the people. I'm nothing if not a man of the people. So Pittman goes. I need a quarterback. Somehow I have made it this far in life without a quarterback. None of these are great stacking partners that I can get at this point. Penix, I think I should be able to get later. So I'm going to take Drake May. Because of his rushing upside, I think he can go unstacked. I'm likely to add a few late round aquarium music. You must understand that the music has to be this like royalty-free music so I don't get, booted off of YouTube and put in the gulag. All right, let's see. You're going to like this one. This is your jam here. Here we go. All right. This is called Feeding the Ducks. Feeding the Ducks. And it's really what people need when they are mainlining big board drafts on February 4th that will not pay out until next January. We will not know what happens in this contest until the end of December, and we will not receive a single red cent back until January. Yeah, I knew you'd be feeling it, man. Well, we'll keep it fresh here. We'll definitely keep it fresh with the music anyway. The draft picks might get a little stale. Stick around long enough, everything cycles around. But yes, this is the best ball format where you draft. There's 20 rounds in this one, and your lineup automatically gets set each week by the computer of the optimal lineup you could have made. There's no ad drops. There are no trades. Once I draft this team, there is literally nothing I can do. Not a single thing. You are then in the hands of the best ball gods, and you hope that your team can make it all the way to week 17. I mean, my God, I know you will, right? Like, I can't imagine being anywhere else on a Tuesday morning than right here watching best ball drafts, especially for someone who does not even have this app or necessarily even know what the heck they're looking at, because they do not play on Underdog.com. But I can assure you, dear listener, that these drafts are a lot of fun to do. They're a lot of fun to do, and they're easier. They're easier to do when you're not just talking into a microphone. You can actually just do this on your phone while doing other things, while being a productive member of society, or at least a productive member of your own household, doing chores and whatnot. So that is the beauty of these drafts is you can focus on other things and do them. It is easier to do that if you have good ranks, which I do. Thank you to the Davis Maddock Patreon. But yeah. So we continue. I think I will take Penix if I can. I'll be a little disappointed if I don't get Penix, because I have Drake London here. I think that makes a lot of sense. Dak is too cheap. I would take Dak if I had any kind of Dak stack, but I don't have a Dak stack, so we're not going to stack Dak. Assuming we do get Penix, Christian Kirk goes. I like Christian Kirk a lot. So we're going to take Penix, and then the question is who are we pairing him with? I cannot push Penix. He does not have a quarterback. It's getting too cute. The running backs here are so gross. So I'm just going to take Penix to not hold up the room. The running back situation at this point, Rico Dowdle's a free agent. Ollie Gordon doesn't go for another 30 picks. This is like a dead zone to me for running back. I think I'd just take Xavier Legette. I could take like a Kincaid, but you know what? I should just take Kyle Pitts. That's who I should take. Well, no, I'm going to take Legette. Legette is a candidate for a breakout. I think Legette as your sixth receiver is pretty strong. I don't anticipate Bryce Young to come all the way around. That's fine. But I don't think Legette is a zero. I think Legette could potentially have some spike weeks. And if you believe in an ascendant Carolina offense, I think that's pretty good. So... all right. Sorry, just messaging some friends. Appreciate everyone who stopped by. Appreciate you if you're watching this on replay. It helps out. Definitely helps out. So there goes Dak. Dak goes unstacked. Again, so this guy has, and I'm not picking on anybody, but, you know, this guy has a badge and he has Dak and T-Law completely unstacked. And maybe that's fine, right? But that's the world we live in these big board drafts. People just take whatever quarterback strikes their fancy, completely unstacked. Now, and I did it too, right? I took unstacked Drake May. So I don't really have a whole heck of a lot of room to talk. But that's just how things end up sometimes. Drake May, I think, is a little different because he does run. And again, I think they are live to add some receivers. Their stacking partner is a little weird. Like, you're just going to assume Ted McMillan's the guy, but he might not be. Could add a Hunter Henry late. After McMillan, there's no one who's like the obvious like good person to stack with him. So he's a guy I think it's fine to take unstacked. Otherwise, and there's no guarantee they take McMillan. They take someone else, and then you don't have to stack anyway. So I think that's fine. Bryce Young goes. Tua goes. Okay, at least Tua goes to the Tyreek Hill guy. This guy's into stacking, right? I actually really like this guy's team. I love Njoku, this as I noted earlier. I think that makes a ton of sense. Quarterbacks have gone real early in this one, so I might have to take another quarterback before I really want to, but I will do so. This guy feels like a candidate to take a fourth quarterback. This chicken dinner guy. Oh, he takes Jalen Wright. All right. Jalen Wright for me is almost a hard no. It doesn't seem like the Dolphins trusted him. Not great draft capital. I think the Dolphins are a candidate to add a running back, and everyone's going to be like, they don't need him, but they do. A-Chain can't be the workhorse. Again, don't think they trust Jalen Wright. We shall see. We shall see what they do. But all right, almost up here. Cade Otton goes, who I think is a good pick. I do think I want a third quarterback on this team. Question is who? I think I would take Cam Ward if he falls. So Sampson is who I would have taken at running back, but let's just take Cam Ward here. And now we're done at quarterback. And now the question is, do we take one of these running backs? Do we take one of these receivers? Or do we take Pat Freiermuth? Personally, I think I really like Pat Freiermuth. I think I'm going to take Freiermuth and end up with a little bit of a boring tight end room, but one that I think is pretty effective here. So, again, you draft these big boards, you think you're going to end up with a ton of rookies, and right now I have one rookie, and it's my third quarterback. But that's the way it goes sometimes, and, you know, people are here to take rookies. You can get some values on the veterans. So, hopefully that's what's taking place. So Tillman goes, Rashad White goes. Stafford goes. So again, the quarterbacks, I mean, this is thin now. This is really thin. Sanders should have a starting job. Darnold should start somewhere. Geno Smith should start. Carr. Everyone was ready to replace Carr until the Saints were incredible at the beginning of the year. We'll see if that drumbeat picks up again if the Saints are not good or if they don't get off to a hot start. Jackson Dart is a guy that more and more people are saying is going to be starting. We will see, at least by the end of the year. And then Russ, boy, I mean, you'd think Russ will be starting somewhere, but he's been so bad. Do you really want him as your best ball quarterback? And then Aaron Rodgers, my God, it's like 50-50 if he comes back. It gets gross. It gets really gross at quarterback. And if you don't have an elite quarterback, 3 QB builds do seem like they make a lot of sense for the big board. Excuse me. Not great. So 8 picks away. Having done these streams, I think it's easier to stream BRs. It's a lot faster. There's a little more to talk about. As the season goes on, I might have more to say about each of the rookie players as they kind of go by. I think that might be more interesting. It is tough to stream an hour big board draft when people are drafting slow. There's only so much you can say about some of these rookie receivers. But we continue. Braylon goes. Man, the Jets just couldn't stop drafting running backs last season. It'd be really funny if they took another one. Hopefully not, because that backfield turned into an absolute nightmare. But as did the whole season for the Jets, so I guess it's not too out of the realm of possibilities. So we are almost up. Sorting by rank. I'm going to take Schultz here and really just finish out this boring tight end room. But honestly, these are 3 solid players, and I have no problem going to war with these as my three tight ends. I think that's fine. I probably would take Jaden Higgins here. I'm definitely interested in Tez and Beck. It's probably time for me to take one of these running backs more than that, though. I think I'm going to take a running back here. And I think I'll take Giddens. I think we'll take DJ Giddens. Because I do need running backs at some point. Our running back room is a little thin. And so definitely like this team, actually. I think this is a pretty good team. Got no problem with how this group came together. I think it's pretty strong at all positions, especially if this Brown Walker can kind of carry the running back room, and then whoever we add late hopefully can contribute. We shall see what the mystery box holds for these rookie running backs we're going to take. And after this, I will probably call it a stream and head to the gym, which is something I've been looking forward to. Got absolutely felted by the flu. I thought the flu was just a cold. The flu is not just a cold. The flu is horrible. It was bad. It was real bad. But I am back in business. Glad to have been able to stream a couple of these. It's really a lot of fun when people are chatting. Again, is 9 a.m. on a Tuesday the best time to stream big board drafts? The answer is probably no, but we will continue to do so. I'm going to try to do these more regularly. But again, it can be tough out there in these streets. But glad to have locked up tight end. It gets pretty gross. I was taking a lot of Harold Fannin, and he's getting a lot of FUD at the Senior Bowl, which you really hate to see. But alas, see if we can get Beck and Tez Johnson. Would be kind of a fun ending to the wide receiver room. Could end up taking Butte in honor of our boy Beck, as we chatted earlier. I think I've come around a little bit onto him. I think it is possible he's not a stone zero, like the best ball intelligentsia wants you to think. I would encourage you on these late picks to think for yourself, because I was not the only one taking Dylan Laube. Like, we really were unironically drafting this guy. And, I took tons of Izzy Abanikanda because, people I respect had him ranked highly. And I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming myself for getting to 45% exposure. Like, you have to make your own decisions and make your own exposures. You can't outsource that to someone else, or you're never going to win. So, just make sure you have control of your own teams and your own exposures, because, nobody's going to do that for you, and nobody's going to build no one's going to build out the exposures you want. So let's see, man, it's going to be tight if we get, my God, this guy has nine receivers. Dear God, why do you need 9? I see why you need 9, because these guys all suck. All right, well, carry on then. Apologies, Jay Donald, but Rashee Rice might miss half the year. Jerry Jeudy, one of the worst receivers I've ever seen. Darnell Mooney, easily replaceable. Cooper Kupp probably should retire. Let's keep going. Michael Pittman, this guy should have had back surgery. Isaiah Bond, I'd rather have James. Amari Cooper, dust. Adonai Mitchell gets distracted by various plants on the field. Like, geez Louise, this is you had 9 receivers and they're all, oh crap. All right. Well, it takes all kinds, folks. It takes all kinds. He takes Brashad Smith, who I like, but I'm going to take Tez Johnson here. And now I am finished with my wide receiver room, which is a really fun room. Neighbors, London, Worthy, Godwin, Myers, Leggett, Beck, and Johnson. So we've got some like target hog. We got some, breakaway speedster on, with a generational quarterback. Someone with a huge discount because they had an injury. Hopefully can come back healthy. Very safe player. Betting on a second-year breakout and a couple of rookies. Like, this is, to me, a quintessential running back room. The wide receiver room. The running back room is a little dicey, got to be honest. Chase Brown could get his value cut in half if they bring in, like, a really elite running back prospect. Ken Walker didn't have the best year, had a bunch of injuries. Hopefully doesn't cede any more carries to Charbonnet, but it's, it doesn't seem like that's the way things are going. Najee Harris, again, I think this is a 1,000-yard rusher, possible huge touchdown upside depending on what team he's on. And DJ Giddens, he's a rookie. Don't know anything about him. Not even sure what college he went to. Hopefully he went to college, but, if not, he's on the team and he can hopefully contribute. So let's check out the running back situation here. All right. Again, there's no reason to end up super heavily concentrated in any of these guys. I think it makes a lot of sense to vary your last round picks up. I'm going to try to do that. Try not to end up too heavily exposed to any one player. Probably take Damian Martinez if he's there. And then afterwards, one of the guys a little further down, LaQuint Allen, Jordan James, Donovan Edwards, and even Trevor Etienne, who's getting a little bit of buzz at the Senior Bowl. Hopefully he's has a little more juice than Big Bro, who I think is trending to 0. But we shall see. We are an hour and 48 minutes into this. Again, thank you for stopping by. I hope you found some of this valuable or entertaining or both. Again, I'm supposed to say this every hour. Please like and subscribe. It helps me with the all-knowing algo. Would love to get a few more people hanging out here. If not, I get it. We've all got stuff to do. It's a weird time. But if you found the stream again, I thank you. I thank you so much for for joining me. My God, that's the remnants of the flu. It really got me. Guys. I thought I wasn't gonna make it. All right, getting closer. 9 picks away. I really wish Underdog put people on autopilot in these drafts. I know they don't because of user experience. They know degens like me will come back no matter what. They don't want to scare away the casuals, which is fine, but my goodness, it can be pretty brutal when people take the clock to double zeros for them to auto draft Gunnar Helm as their fourth tight end. I have no idea if Shiv is still at their computer. I'm going to guess no. So we'll see if they have ranks in, or if they're really going to just take Gunnar Helm. Oh, I don't have this by ADP. Like, they take Zach Moss. Like, there's no way someone with a pulse in the year 2025 is taking Zach Moss. Like, Zach Moss is done. He's dust. It's over. Don't take Zach Moss. He went to 0. And he was going to 0 even before the injury. And now he's just giga 0. So, we shall see. David Robinson goes. Calvin Austin, Slayton. A lot of these hits of the late round. Mike Gesicki goes. So I'm going to take Damian Martinez here. But who do I want to take after that? I'll queue up Trevor Etienne. See, I'm going to do what I said I wasn't going to do and let my clock go to 0. Trevor Etienne. Let's see. Is there really buzz? I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe the buzz. He's an Etienne. I'll take this LeQuint Allen guy. He sounds like Squints from The Sandlot. And as we all know, Squints, an absolute legend, ends up with Wendy Peppercorn. He's a hero. We'll take LeSquints Allen Jr. with our last pick. And we will call it a stream there. Jay Donaldo has to take it to 00 for Gunnar Helm. We will take LeQuint Allen. And that will do it. We end up with Drake May, Michael Penix, and Cam Ward. Exciting young crop of quarterbacks. Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, Najee Harris, DJ Giddens, Damian Martinez, and LeQuint Allen at running back. Again, kind of an exciting crop of running backs. We went 0 RB this time, or kind of went hero RB early and ended up falling into a falling Kenneth Walker. Wide receiver room is the piece de resistance with Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Xavier Worthy, Chris Godwin, Jacoby Myers, Xavier Legette, and then the 2 late rookies, Jack Beck and Tez Johnson, followed with a dusty room of very distinguished gentlemen in Mark Andrews, Pat Freiermuth, and Dalton Schultz. So again, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to try to stream again tomorrow or maybe even later today. Who the heck knows? But thanks again for coming by and take care, everyone. Bye.